The Chehalis Boarding and Day School in Oakville housed students for 33 years. Fort Simcoe on the Yakima Nation Reservation was open for 60. The U.S. government took tens of thousands of children from their families and sent them to schools across the country. Some were as young as 6, forbidden from speaking their native languages, their braids cut and baptized. Many of the students never returned home. U.S. Interior Secretary Deb Haaland is the first Native American to hold that cabinet or any cabinet position. Her grandparents attended boarding school in what Haaland called a horrific era in American history. She ordered the first federal study of the program. It identified 17 former Indian boarding school campuses, most on the West Coast, in what is now Washington State. 3 burial sites were identified, 2 in Tacoma and 1 in Federal Way. Nationwide, the report identified more than 400 campuses and almost 1,000 students who died at the schools. Researchers are calling for a formal apology from the U.S., as well as steps to, quote, invest in remedies, giving tribes at least as much money as the feds originally spent, a figure that tops $23 billion in today's dollars.
It literally robbed us of our culture, our language, our identity.
Chris Peters is chair of the Squaxin Island tribe, whose children were sent as far away as Oklahoma. He is grateful the federal government is now shedding light on its dark past and would like to see mental health counseling made available for his community that's still recovering.
It's incredibly emotional for me and my what we call our Squaxadubs people. And our ancestors are hopefully proud of all the work that's being done today, and hopefully this benefits our next generation.
Secretary Haaland today said she is sorry for what the United States did, but everyone behind this report knows that official apology needs to come from the President of the United States. Secretary Haaland says she looks forward to speaking with President Joe Biden about that apology. In Oakville, Drew Mickelson, King 5 News.
Just last night, we told you about the site of the former Indian boarding school on the Yakima Nation's tribal lands. Volunteers are using radar and search dogs to try to find evidence former students are buried on this property. The grounds at Fort Simcoe State Park are currently celebrated as one of the last still standing forts in the western United States dating back to the pre-Civil War era. Volunteers want the state and federal government to do more to recognize the property's full history.